for Boots Ennis. What heart shown by both men, but what pound for pound still.
He could have did it the first round, but you know, he gets in there and like to play around a little bit. I'll get on him sometime about playing around like that.
And then in that third round, it seemed like Xander had a lot of success. I don't know if...
Y'all better look at them tapes again. Y'all talking a lot of success. Anybody go 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Did your instructions change after...
No, nothing changed. I wanted the Boots to go to the body more, you know what I mean? And use his jab more. But he was setting a lot of shots up too. You see the shots he was hitting with, you know what I mean? And I was telling him not to stay there, because every time you stay there, you hit him with a good shot. Xander grabs him. He holds him. You don't see Boots doing the holding. You see he been outboxing too. You saw what he's doing. When he was jabbing, how many jabs he was hitting with? You know what I mean? He can do that. But he loves to fight. That's why these people come to see him, man. He put on the show, man.
When the fight finally came to an end, there wasn't much need to check the scorecards right away. The atmosphere inside the arena said it all. This wasn't the kind of contest where one fighter dominated every moment. Instead, it was a battle of adjustments, strategy, and constant decision-making from the opening round to the last. Every minute felt like a new challenge, with both men searching for answers and forcing each other to adapt. It was less about overwhelming power and more about who could solve the puzzle across 12 intense rounds.
What a great fight. You are a machine. Zayas, a little inexperienced, but you will be back. You're a great fighter. Let's make the biggest fight in boxing today. Virgil Ortiz, Boots Ennis, let's go.
There ain't nothing to think. It's a knockout.
No, but I'm saying like just of the fight, because it seemed like...
Whatever I say,
He wasn't ready, man.
whatever I say is not gonna benefit.
Exactly. He should have.
Congrats. Let's see him unified. Let's see. Well, he's unified now. Let's see him become undisputed.
Yeah.
Good job.
Are you proud of the way Xander performed?
No, I give
Definitely.
him props.
Part of a
He was like a lion
champion.
of heart.
He
Yeah.
showed, and his team was. They made the decision. That's it.
What'd you think about Boots' performance? I mean, he overcame some kind of hard spots there.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Absolutely.
From the knockdowns, it seemed like he had Boots hurt like in the third, fourth there. I mean, did you think maybe...
I was surprised that they let the fight go that long, you know, because I was really concerned about him getting hurt like that. But that's boxing, you know. Their corner decided to let him out. Thank God, I hope he's okay. And you know, there was times there that he could have turned it around, but I mean, tonight it was Boots' night, you know.
From the opening moments, Jaron Boots Ennis looked every bit like the dynamic fighter fans have come to expect. He constantly changed angles, mixed up his stance, and unleashed sharp combinations that kept the pressure high. Every exchange demanded an immediate response from Xander Zayas, who was forced to think and react under relentless intensity. The speed, movement, and unpredictability coming from Ennis created the kind of challenges that only a handful of fighters are capable of handling at the highest level.
No, Xander, a good fighter. I like Xander. Xander, one of my guys that I like, man. That's why you see me hugging him. He's one of them top guys, man. To me, he's a good fighter, man. But I knew he couldn't do nothing with Boots.
Do you think that now he can take the team to another level?
Man, I told you when y'all ain't see the best of him yet. They gotta bring it out of my son. You know what I mean? You see when he bring it out, he get nasty. He like to knock everybody out, but I tell him relax. Gotta relax, take your time, man. You know what I mean? But he get excited.
It's not really about when you throw, you're gonna get hit. You know, he loves fighting. He's a fighter at heart. Like I said, with age, the older you get, the smarter you get, the more wiser you get. Then you realize, like, I take less risk and I become more of a boxer. He has that ability. But now he's young and he's in his prime. He's a dog. He likes fighting. He enjoys.
What really stood out, though, was Xander Zayas' composure in the middle of all that pressure. Rather than letting Ennis dictate the tempo, he remained patient and controlled. Whenever the pace started to accelerate, Zayas found ways to reset the action, working behind a sharp jab and making small but important adjustments throughout the fight. Those subtle changes prevented Ennis from fully taking over. That's what made this contest so compelling to watch. Every round felt like a chess match, with both fighters constantly searching for the next advantage.
Proud of you and Xander, brother. You put up a tremendous
Yeah, I'm so
performance.
proud of him, man. He showed a lot of grit, heart of a champion. But I think the main thing that I loved about Xander is that he literally got the experience. He's got it down packed. When he got hurt, he was bouncing and jumping around, like moving around, moving his legs, waking him up. You know, but hey, it happens.
He showed tremendous heart, right? He kept getting up over and over. It was even stopped by the corner. It wasn't even him.
Yeah, he surprised me.
Yeah, no, but hey, you know what? That's boxing for you, but he shows that he's willing to go all the way.
Whenever it seemed like Ennis was on the verge of taking complete control with his speed, movement, and unpredictable offense, Zayas found an answer. He stayed composed, picked his moments carefully, and landed well-timed counters that disrupted the momentum. His ring IQ was on full display, showing exactly why so many people view him as one of the brightest young talents in the sport. Just when it looked like one fighter had gained the upper hand, the momentum swung once again, and the battle entered a completely different phase.
What were your thoughts on Xander's performance? You know, I mean,
I thought he did great. But you know, he still has some. How you doing? I see you, bro. Yes, sir. I thought he did great. He did good. But you know, when you got 2 belts and you're 23, you can't really take a step back. You know, that's what comes with it. You got. There's no turning back. There's no turning back. There's no turning back. There's no turning back. You got 2.
As the fight progressed, Ennis started investing more heavily in body shots, attacking from unusual angles that caught the eye and kept his opponent guessing. In response, Zayas became more willing to hold his position and trade, turning each exchange into a carefully measured risk. What made the contest so impressive was the commitment both fighters showed to their strengths. Ennis continued pressing the action with confidence and creativity, but never lost control of his approach. At the same time, Zayas remained patient and disciplined, refusing to let caution prevent him from taking the opportunities he saw in front of him.
There's no turning back, so he did what he had to do.
Talk about the heart of Xander. I mean, he kept getting up. Even the fight was stopped by his corner. It wasn't even like he, stayed down. He just kind of nodded, seeing his corner finish it.
Look, when you're a young fighter, you're gonna go out on your shield. That's why people want to see young fighters fight, because that's the type of fight you're gonna get. They don't want to see older fighters who just like for some money. They want to see that. They want to see somebody get hurt.
Maintaining that level of discipline becomes incredibly difficult once the intensity starts rising. But both fighters managed to do exactly that. As the fight entered the later rounds, the energy inside the arena reached another level. Every significant punch sparked a reaction from the crowd, because each man was delivering moments that could have influenced the judges. At that stage, it was no longer just a clash of different styles. It had become a test of who could make the smart adjustments under pressure. That, more than anything, is a testament to the quality of both fighters, no matter who ultimately walked away with the victory. This matchup provided answers that countless predictions and discussions could never fully reveal. One competitor showed that his athleticism, speed, and offensive creativity can thrive under the brightest lights. The other demonstrated that his composure, discipline, and mental strength remain intact even when the fight becomes unpredictable. Not every memorable boxing match ends with a dramatic knockout. Sometimes greatness is found in 2 world-class fighters pushing each other beyond their limits and uncovering new dimensions of their game. That's exactly the kind of performance this felt like. A high-level battle that showcased skill, intelligence, resilience, and the very best of what boxing has to offer.
I don't know. I mean, he's supposed to bring out the best. You know what I mean? You know? But Pandora, I like Pandora. Yeah. Whatever name, Pandora. I like to fight him. I think Ortiz. That'll be a good fight, Ortiz.
Yeah. So Terrence Crawford, he was tweeting something after the fight, being coy, like not commenting on it, but seeming to just throw his version of some shade. I mean, what's your thoughts on?
I don't care what nobody say, man. Yeah. I don't care. That don't bother me. Just like when y'all talk, I don't care what y'all say.
Not even me?
I don't care what none of y'all say, because I speak the truth. You know what I mean? You know, you don't see us cussing and calling people out. Some of they don't know this, don't know that. We don't do that. You know what I mean? We just come to fight.
Boots Ennis stood near the ring wearing the same composed look he had maintained throughout the entire fight week. But once the action was over, it was clear he had witnessed the exact type of matchup he had anticipated. He had plenty of praise for Xander Zayas, describing him as a true champion who embraced the challenge and never allowed the pressure of the occasion to affect his performance. Bootsy explained that the fight went far beyond headlines, predictions, or online discussions. In his view, it was a meeting between two undefeated young fighters determined to prove themselves against elite competition. He highlighted Zayas' discipline, intelligent movement, and ability to adapt throughout the fight, noting that both teams were forced to make strategic decisions round after round. To him, that is what high-level championship boxing is all about. When the conversation shifted toward Jaron Boots Ennis, Bootsy couldn't help but grin. Many wondered whether they had just witnessed the very best version of Boots, but he suggested there was still more to come. He reminded everyone that before the fight he had spoken about additional levels still waiting to be revealed, and he believed this performance only reinforced that point. According to Bootsy, the outcome wasn't defined by a single highlight reel exchange or one unforgettable sequence. The real difference came from the small details that accumulated throughout the fight, the adjustments, decisions, and execution that separated great fighters from exceptional ones.
Rashidi was beating. Right? Well, Boots didn't know Rashidi, like I told him. I knew Boots was going to stop him. He could have stopped him earlier, too. He could have stopped him early, but he ended up having fun again, you know what I mean? No, that's not, we don't do that all the time.
Did you expect it to be so one-sided, though, man? Okay.
No, I did. The reason why I'm saying that because he's coming at us. He's one of them guys that he got to be set to throw punches. All you got to do is give him a little move.
For Bootsy, the defining factor wasn't power, speed, or physical advantages. It was the ability to remain focused and disciplined while the fight continued to evolve. He commended both fighters for keeping their composure throughout the contest, explaining that true champions are revealed by how they respond when momentum shifts and challenges appear unexpectedly. He also dismissed the idea that physical size alone could determine the outcome, joking with reporters who had predicted the fight based solely on those factors. In his view, boxing has always been about intelligence, timing, adaptability, and making the correct choices in high-pressure situations. Those qualities, he said, were on display from both sides all night long. Bootsy admitted there were several stretches of the fight where even the fans in attendance likely changed their opinions multiple times about who was in control. That unpredictability was exactly why he believed the matchup lived up to the standards expected at the highest level of the division. When asked about future plans, however, he wasn't interested in discussing potential opponents or making bold declarations. Instead, he reflected on the significance of nights like this, explaining that these are the moments fighters dedicate themselves to throughout the year. According to him, greatness isn't achieved through words, predictions, or reputation. It's earned by accepting difficult challenges and proving yourself when the spotlight is brightest. Before leaving, he expressed his appreciation to the fans who witnessed the event and emphasized that this performance was only one chapter in a much larger story. The mission, he said, continues, and there is still plenty more to accomplish before the journey reaches its destination.
Power didn't change. That mother still was strong. I thought we was going to, you know what I mean? His power was still there.
Hey, what did you think of his heart? He definitely has some energy.
Man, he's one of the best, right? He's one of the best that Boots has fought, to me. Okay. Even though he couldn't hardly do too much with Boots, but he was there. And he was putting that pressure on him. And he was trying to fight. He wasn't like the one we fought last time that ran.
Okay,
you see what I'm saying? If you don't run, what's going to happen?
That's where Eddie Hearn shifted the discussion beyond the fight itself and toward the future of the division. While Boots Ennis focused on preparation, adaptability, and the value of proving yourself through difficult challenges, Hearn was more interested in the bigger picture and what the event meant for boxing as a whole. According to Eddie, this matchup served as a perfect example of why the sport thrives when elite fighters are willing to face each other at the right time. He emphasized that when undefeated contenders and champions stop worrying about preserving records and instead pursue the toughest available challenges, the real winners are the fans. What stood out most was that Hearn had no interest in criticizing either man after the fight. Rather than focusing on shortcomings, he applauded both fighters for meeting the enormous expectations surrounding the event. In his view, they delivered the type of performance that reminds people why boxing remains one of the most compelling sports in the world. That he described the atmosphere inside the arena as something special, the kind of experience that stays with fans long after the final bell. When reporters brought up some of his confident pre-fight predictions, Hearn laughed and acknowledged that boxing has a way of surprising everyone, including promoters who spend their careers making bold forecasts. He admitted that even with all his experience, fights of this magnitude can leave anyone nervously waiting to see how the story unfolds.
You can have great fighters, but you need to put performances in on a stage like that, in fights like that, for me to be able to stand in the ring and say, I f***ing told you, this kid is the one. He's 27 years old. Now, you talk about these other fighters, the great fighters like, I don't know, Crawford. What's Crawford? 36, 37, right? Who is amazing. Boots, Crawford, best fight in the sport. Unbelievable. But this kid's got so many gears and levels to go through.
For Eddie Hearn, the true value of the fight wasn't tied to a single highlight or dramatic sequence. What impressed him most was how the momentum constantly shifted throughout all 12 rounds. Whenever it seemed like one fighter had figured things out and gained control, the other responded with a new adjustment and changed the direction of the contest once again. In Eddie's eyes, that's the hallmark of world-class boxing. Two elite competitors forcing each other to think, adapt, and evolve in real time. But he also noted that boxing fans often spend too much energy debating records, rankings, and accomplishments on paper while overlooking what really matters: seeing top-level fighters test themselves against one another in the ring. According to Hearn, both men deserved enormous respect simply for accepting the challenge. He argued that too many major fights never happen, making nights like this even more valuable for the sport and its supporters. Looking toward the future, Eddie expressed excitement about what this performance could mean for the junior middleweight division. He believes the landscape has become even more interesting because champions, contenders, and promoters now have another benchmark to measure themselves against. A single memorable fight can shift the conversation around an entire weight class, and he feels this matchup accomplished exactly that. No matter what opportunities come next, Hearn's message remains simple. Boxing grows when the best fighters face the toughest available opposition. Fans deserve more nights built around ambition, risk, and elite competition, and far fewer delays, excuses, and missed opportunities. If the sport continues producing contests like this one, the future of the division has never looked brighter.
Here in the pocket and the movement, and it was getting better and better and better and more spiteful and more spiteful. Shout out to Marvin, the trainer, because you save a fighter from a horrific beating. And he was taking a beating anyway, but like, what's the point? His nose is busted, he's about to get knocked spark out, and it's like, the fight's over. And it's like, it's such a disheartening beating. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you can't have any joy. You land one and you think, and then all of a sudden you got hit by about 8 and he's over there. You know, he's such a brilliant.
While Eddie Hearn focused on the bigger picture and what the fight meant for the sport, Shakur Stevenson viewed the contest from an entirely different perspective. He wasn't interested in the business side of boxing or the future implications for the division. Instead, his attention was locked on the technical details unfolding inside the ring. According to Shakur, the matchup was a perfect example of why boxing is often referred to as the sweet science. Rather than being driven by emotion or reckless aggression, the fight was built around constant adjustments and strategic decision-making. He observed that whenever one fighter appeared to gain a tactical advantage, the other quickly adapted and presented a new challenge. That continuous back and forth is the type of high-level battle that experienced fighters truly appreciate. One aspect that impressed Stevenson was the discipline shown by both competitors throughout the contest. He noted that many fighters lose sight of their strategy once the pressure begins to build, becoming overly focused on dramatic moments or crowd reactions. In this fight, however, neither man abandoned the approach that brought him success. Even during the most intense exchanges, their choices remained calculated and purposeful. To Shakur, that level of composure revealed just how prepared both fighters were. No matter how demanding the pace became or how quickly momentum shifted, each man stayed committed to his strengths while continuing to make intelligent adjustments. That balance between discipline and adaptability is what separates elite performers from everyone else.
I thought it was an amazing performance. I thought he said something about watching Gotti versus Floyd in the same arena. And that was the kind of Gotti-like Floyd performance that I came here to see. I thought that was Boots at his best. He was having fun. He was sharp. People complain about him getting hit, but The only punch I really seen him get hit with was the jab tonight. So truthfully, I thought his defense was really good, and it was a great.
Shakur acknowledged that several moments during the fight left him genuinely impressed. What stood out wasn't just the punches being thrown, but the incredible level of timing, awareness, and self-control both fighters displayed under pressure. He even joked that many viewers at home probably believed they had the fight figured out, only to realize how quickly the action was changing once they saw the speed and complexity of the exchanges. Because of that, Shakur wasn't interested in defining the contest by a handful of dramatic highlights. In his opinion, the most important parts of the fight were the subtle details that often go unnoticed. The positioning of the feet, the patience to wait for the right opening, the ability to make instant reads, and the confidence to trust years of preparation when decisions had to be made in a fraction of a second. Those were the elements that truly shaped the outcome today. As he reflected on the performance, Shakur explained that nights like this elevate expectations across the entire sport. When elite, undefeated fighters choose to settle debates through competition rather than conversation, everyone involved benefits, from the athletes themselves to the fans watching around the world. He emphasized that the matchup offered something for every type of boxing enthusiast. Whether someone enjoys speed, pressure, counterpunching, ring intelligence, or technical mastery, the fight delivered examples of all of them at the highest level. That combination is what transforms a great fight into a memorable one, and why people will continue discussing this battle long after the crowd has gone home and the arena has fallen silent.
No, probably around like the second round. I seen that the guy was in the high guard, and Boots shots come like 100 miles per hour. So with that speed, with that power, it was going to be hard for him to stand tall the entire time.
What really caught my attention was Greg Hackett's perspective. After hearing technical breakdowns focused on strategy and fine details, Greg approached the fight from a much more practical angle. He couldn't help but laugh at all the predictions people had confidently made before the opening bell, as if the outcome was already written. In his view, this fight was another reminder that boxing has a way of exposing certainty and rewarding adaptability. Greg believed the most important takeaway had very little to do with highlight reel moments or individual rounds. Instead, he focused on what happened when the original plan stopped working. According to him, every fighter enters the ring with a strategy, but true championship qualities are revealed when that strategy needs to be adjusted in real time. That's when instinct, experience, and composure become just as important as preparation. What made his analysis interesting was how little attention he gave to numbers, scorecards, or statistics. He was more interested in the mental side of the battle, the ability to stay calm in uncomfortable situations, recognize opportunities as they appear, and react without hesitation when everything is happening at full speed. For Greg, those split-second decisions are what separate elite fighters from everyone else. When the pressure rises and the fight becomes unpredictable, there isn't time to overthink every move. The best competitors trust their training, rely on their instincts, and find solutions in the moment.
Been on what you would say a little bit of a roller coaster, a successful roller coaster, but a little bit up and down, because every time Boots fight, we looking for the wow, like we looking for that every time Boots fight. So for me, I knew the energy was going to be up because this meant a lot to both fighters. So
Greg even joked that some viewers watch boxing as if fighters can simply reset and start over whenever something goes wrong. But inside the ring, every decision carries consequences. You have only a split second to recognize what's happening and react correctly. Make the wrong choice, and you'll feel the effects immediately. He also made sure to acknowledge the work being done in both corners throughout the fight. Greg pointed out that the teams weren't just repeating the same advice between rounds. They were actively identifying problems and making meaningful adjustments. It's the kind of detail many casual fans overlook, but those with experience in the sport recognize how important it can be. What impressed him most was the emotional discipline shown by both fighters. Neither man allowed difficult moments to push him into reckless decisions. Whenever it seemed as though one fighter was about to seize complete control, the other responded with a tactical change, a new approach, or a subtle adjustment that shifted the momentum back. For Greg, that constant evolution was proof of the high-level intelligence on display. As the conversation wrapped up, He explained why he never rushes to declare anyone unbeatable before a fight takes place. Natural ability may create opportunities, but composure under pressure is what sustains success at the highest level. After watching these two competitors navigate every challenge the fight presented, Greg felt both had strengthened their standing among the division's elite. Regardless of the final result, they demonstrated that they belong in any serious discussion about the top fighters in the weight class.
This guy really don't adjust. This guy really just want to get you. He want to beat you up. And that's his best attribute, is his determination. I seen him take some shots against Mastre, but deliver some shots. And what kept him confident with Mastre is the fact that he knew Mastre would be right there in front of me. So when I did my calculations, I said, Boots ain't gonna sit there. It don't make sense. It don't make sense.
In the end, this matchup delivered exactly what boxing fans were hoping for. For weeks, the conversation centered around contrasting strengths, speed against patience, aggression against precision, youth against experience. But once the action began, those comparisons became far more complicated. Both fighters proved certain points, challenged expectations, and gave fans plenty to think about long after the final bell. That's what elevates a fight from being merely important to being truly memorable. It wasn't just a contest between talented athletes. It was a test of adaptability, composure, and problem-solving under pressure. Neither fighter could rely on a perfect game plan from start to finish. Success came from making adjustments, responding to challenges, and finding answers in real time. Performances like this are exactly what the sport needs more often. Two elite competitors willing to take risks, embrace difficult challenges, and settle questions where they matter most. Inside the ring, now it's your turn. Which fighter do you think made the smart adjustments throughout the fight? How did you score the key rounds? And regardless of the official outcome, whose performance impressed you the most? Let me know in the comments below, because this is the type of fight that will have fans debating for a long time. And if you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure to like the video, share it with fellow boxing fans, and subscribe for more boxing news, analysis, and fight coverage. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.